we've got the hoof pastern axis. So as we draw a straight line through the pastern, that line should be parallel to the hoof dorsal hoof wall. So that tells us we've got good bony alignment with the part of the hoof wall or the dorsal aspect of the hoof wall. Then if we drop a line down from the center of P2, we like to have about a 60-40 where we've got no more than 60% of the foot in front of it and about 40% or so behind it, which is horse is sitting right there in the middle. So we've got the majority of our foot helping to support this bony column that goes from about the front part of the coffin bone all the way back here through the heels.
Lee, what do you see when you look at these x-rays?
I just, my version of reading x-rays is I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm trying to see how I can help them shoeing wise. So I try to keep it pretty simple with just bony column alignment and sole depth right here. So I'm looking for the same thickness of the hoof ball around this, and then similar for that in the sole around the bottom. And there's only so much you can do with, you can't, a lot of people want to say don't touch the heel and you got to trim the toe off, but the problem is the heel will drift clear up here. So that's where x-rays are super important, because we can tell exactly how they need to be. And if you're not doing much with your horse, this doesn't have to be perfect, but when you're dealing with horses with issues and you're trying to keep horses going, high level horses, I mean, this is why it's a science and why it takes a team, is because neither one of us can do it by ourselves.
And in these performance horses where a winner is decided by tenths, if not hundredths of a second, or 1 point out of something, these little things multiply into huge things down the road.
And how many times do you see issues that are slightly off end up holding a horse back from greatness?
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing that we see, where the horse has a good foot and they're doing a good job, but there's just that small tweak that keeps that horse from going on and being consistent. Probably the big thing. They can always go out there and do a great run or a great performance or do their job really good, but are they consistent? And I think the more they're balanced, the more this is corrected, then you start getting consistency, which is going to turn that good horse into a great horse. Every horse can be good, but the great ones are consistent at it.
Right. Do you see that when you get this fixed that they have to put less maintenance with injections?
We do, yeah. There's no doubt that the more balanced, the less stress, the less you're going to have to inflammatory processes pop up.
Can you show me the balance?
So here's a balance of showing on this right, where we've got this foot sitting right up underneath it. And then we look at this front to back view, which is out of balance. So if we measure from the bottom of this bone just to the ground surface, and then we take that same measurement to the ground surface, we've got this horse out of balance. Those two numbers should be the same number. And so this horse, this little instrument over here tells us that this is on the outside of the foot. So we know that the outside of the foot is out of balance. He's high on the outside of the foot. We need to take more heel off down here, level that out. And again, when this is high, we start getting compression here, we start getting compression here, we're going to get compression here, and it's going to go all the way up the leg.
Do you look at the joint spaces right here too? Because you can see a clear definition right there.
Yep.
And then you can see this is, it looks like it's off at a little angle to me. So I feel like, does it need to be a little that way?
Yes.
But then you can clearly see that it's pinched right there.
Yeah,
so it's excessive.
Everything goes, once that bone starts to get tilted, then everything's going to multiply as it goes up the leg.
With that off balance right there, how you looked at those numbers, would you be able to see that with the naked eye?
Interesting enough, I would say the majority of the time the answer to that is probably yes, if you look in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of horses that this is not that visible on it, especially if they've got a shoe on and you're looking at it, it makes it even that much harder. If they don't have a shoe on, you can pick it up a little bit more, but most of the time, yes, but not all. That's where the radiograph really kicks in.
Awesome.